Greetings, and welcome to part 3 in the Universe at War hard campaign no units built challenge. No optional units built challenge. Now we are at the Masari. I'm going to spoil it straight away. This is the hardest campaign by far. There is no competition. I could combine the difficulties of the hierarchy and Novus together, and it would not even come close. This is a very, very hard campaign to do without building optional units. And actually, there is no point in the campaign at all where you are absolutely 100% forced to build a unit via the game mechanics. You aren't. So, assuming it is doable without building optional units, it means it is doable without building units at all. However, there are many roadblocks on the way there, and I'm not going to spoil whether or not it's doable. I'm just going to tell you that it's damn hard, regardless of result. It's not easy. It just isn't. This first mission is an interesting one. I entered dark mode. Now, here is the thing. The majority of the strategy of the run, or the playthrough, or the challenge, is to do some damage, run away, heal up, come back in, do some damage. That is the primary way to play. So, I'm going to use dark mode. Dark matter armor will give me essentially more health to work with. It's better than light mode for my purposes. In this first mission, I have some disciples to start with, and I'm having a bit of trouble opening up the console bit for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm already worrying because I don't know if I'm given an architect at this point. I'm just panicking, thinking, oh no, I've got this massive base and I can't be everywhere. My units are going to get picked off and So I'm panicking. I'm looking around, trying to figure out what I should be doing. And I've already got a decent base to start with, but most of my stuff is unit production, which isn't helpful. It's just not. I am able to research and get up the dark matter armor for buildings, and I do actually have one architect. That makes life easier. The issue is, I'm not going to be able to go around and heal all of my buildings. Architects can do that, but I just can't. I cannot. It's not a thing I can do. I don't have the time. So, the primary strategy is going to be to build a lot of turrets. With one architect, that's a real problem. Where possible and with spare time, I'm going to repair my buildings, but it's just not... It's not easy. It isn't. The enemy is scripted to attack you every so often, and it's a bit of a pain. If I can build enough turrets, it should be okay, but I'm not 100% sure. One advantage I do have is I don't need to upgrade my matter engines. I have nothing to spend my money on, really, so I don't need to upgrade them. I'm under no economical pressure in that sense. And the Masari can generate infinite money, so I don't need to worry about running out of resources ever. That is a good thing. So to start with, I run Zessus up the middle of the map-ish, slightly to the right, because there is actually a walker, which I'm going to try and start getting through. And I'm going to start off building some base defenses, and I'm going to get through this walker, because if I just run Zessus to the objective, then he could die on the way. Dark matter armor is powerful, but not that powerful. I'm starting off by taking out this splitter turret, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. They just do a lot of damage. The nice thing is I can regen and regenerate my dark matter armor at the same time. This is a thing I get to do. So, I can be kind of more efficient in that sense. Zessus doesn't have his powers in this mission. Story-wise, Kamal disrupted the balance of his thoughts. So, I don't have teleport. I can't abuse teleport to start chipping away at units and stuff, and I can't use his explosion, nor the dark miasma. I don't know why I've got Zessus all the way at base, so I just run him back up. I thought he took more damage than he did, I guess. But I'm going to start by just getting some base defenses going, and I'm using the few disciples I've got off to the side to protect from the odd siege that comes in. But every disciple loss will be permanent, which is why I'm choosing dark matter, actually. It means that I won't have to use my architect to repair so much, and hopefully that'll be enough. This is kind of scripted. You're supposed to lose a building here. It's not the end of the world, so I'm not too worried. And yeah, you can see this is going to take a while with Zessus. I don't want to make a mistake, which is why I'm bringing him back and I'm being a bit excessively cautious, maybe. I didn't actually lose the building, that's awesome. So I'm going to just build a bunch of turrets at the entrance points of my base to hopefully not worry. I'm going to have to build a lot of turrets. Masari kind of have weaker turrets than Novus, but they're kind of better in a way because you can have more of them. You can have 25 of each kind, I believe. 25 sky and 25 grounded. And with the upgrades, they're actually quite good. They get two-faced on the Guardian, which basically just straight up doubles its potential. And the Sky upgrade lets it have this thing where it has an active that pushes away air units, but more importantly, it can redirect projectiles, which I don't think actually matters for this mission, because Saucer's projectiles, their orb thingies, can't be redirected, and I don't think they redirect projectiles from ground units, so it's not overly important. It might also increase the stats, I really don't know. But they can be quite powerful, and Masari don't need to worry about a flow network. Much like the hierarchy, they can just drop their turrets wherever they want, and it just doesn't really matter. So I'm building up turrets, and because I've got the one architect, the only, I don't have time to go and repair and heal. I need to get these turrets up just to be safe. And yeah, it's just a lot of waiting for dark matter armor and healing. So I have now tripled the speed. This is because you're going to be watching a lot of the same thing whilst I talk over it, and you don't need to see way over an hour of me talking about the strategy. So I've sped it up and I'll talk about it a bit quicker. I'm taking some odd tiny assaults, which don't matter too much thanks to the dark matter armor. The other advantage of dark mode is that I don't have to constantly repair my structures, because they're not taking chip damage. Well, they are, but the dark matter armor is going to keep on regenerating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Zessus to take out the plasma turrets on the walker first. And by doing that, it means I'll take less damage and I'll be able to cycle through the attacking and healing and attacking and healing cycle more often. Less often, sorry, which means I'll get more total attacks in. I'm not going super close with Zessus. A thing you can do with him is go close and he'll hit more often. Sometimes his glaive just misses, especially when enemies are running away from him. So as powerful as Zessus is, he's somewhat limited in that sense. My machine is just getting destroyed here. I made an error. And that's not the worst, because I can't use the machiner anyway. But you see me just repeatedly constructing turrets. It really doesn't matter that the turrets are getting destroyed. And that's because I have infinite money. Usually I'd be a bit more cautious, but I have literally infinite resources as long as I don't die. So I'm not overly fussed about losing my turrets. I'm continuing to build up bit by bit. I'm healing disciples, which is a mistake. I should be building more turrets. In retrospect, it's just wrong to be healing the disciples. More turrets means they won't take damage. I finally do my upgrade on my knowledge vault. Should have done it a long time ago because I have infinite money. I cannot spend my money quickly enough for the most part. I'm rinse and repeating, rinse and repeating. At some point in this mission, I decide to walk my architect up the middle. I realise that I've got enough base defences and I just want to build a more offensive turret farm, I'll call it. I'll call them little turret farms. And I'm now finally getting some upgrades going, because I should have done it so long ago. I just have way too much money. I should have done these upgrades on the Knowledge Vault much longer ago. But with these upgrades, my base should be well enough defended. It's definitely a step up in difficulty for this campaign, but this mission isn't too bad. It's just kind of slow and grindy, and that's in no small part because I'm playing so safe with Zessus. The turrets are going down bit by bit. I take a good chunk of damage on Zessus, and this is the point, I think, at which I decide to go and start building the turret farm up in the middle. I'm not sure, but I start to just do some upgrades for the sake of it, because even though I've got infinite money, I think to myself, maybe I'll end up wanting more. And it's not like paying for the upgrades is a big economical hit either. So I decided to just finish up the matter engines and whatnot. I don't really know why at this point. Later on, it actually does prove to be handy. I'm able to take out the plasma turret very nearly, actually, not quite, just shy there. But I decide to go for the finished eco. I don't really know why, but it does end up being handy. I just think, on the off chance I will, because I'm not under dire pressure right now. Also, it completes the objective, I guess, which, you know, yay, I completed the objective. That doesn't matter. So, I finish up some upgrades. I keep running back and forth with Zessus. I'm now focusing on the plasma turret at the back. The AI does not rebuild destroyed hardpoints. Well, I didn't destroy the hardpoint, but they don't re-kit the hardpoints. So, once I've knocked out the turret, it's gone, fortunately. I don't need to completely finish off the hardpoint. That's kind of nice. I'm still building. When am I going to make this turret farm? At this point, looking back on it, I feel like I should have already made it, but the idea just didn't occur to me until later. Because keep in mind, you're seeing the first attempt here. A lot of what you see is first attempts, actually. I didn't strategize for this challenge. I didn't prepare. I just sort of went in all guns blazing. And hopefully it worked. I bring up the architect finally. And my plan is to aggro the walker into the turrets. The first turret I build just gets annihilated instantly, which kind of sucks, but I do start building it up. Zessus is tanking, but the walker prioritizes the turret, which is really weird, and that's when I get this strategy in mind, and this is where the improved eco is actually helpful. The walker will prioritize the turrets I'm building over Zessus. So I can just keep on rinse and repeating building these turrets, and the walker will focus on them and not Zessus, and I'm just letting Zessus do his own thing. This doesn't matter to me. With the other races, I would bleed out of resources in no time flat if I tried to abuse this. But it doesn't matter with Masari. Even when I run out, it just doesn't matter. I have infinite money. This is not a permanent loss for me. And the walker is just prioritizing everything but Zessus, and that's just so perfect. I rinse and repeat. I'm building the Guardian because it's slightly cheaper than the Sky Guardian. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is a strategy that I realize I could have been doing. Because there were times when I had enough money I could have just gotten away with this. And I actually complete a Guardian, which is quite funky. So I keep on building extra Guardians, but it's interesting, the Walker actually prioritizes the completed Guardian over the fresh ones. I don't know why, but I repair the Guardian to keep it up as long as possible, and then I go back to this old strategy. And boom. Boom. I don't know what else to say other than that's a damn helpful strategy. So actually, my, at the time, eco build that I thought was pointless was actually really handy because it enabled me to keep on spam building, and that's exactly what I do. It is beautiful, it works. So I build up a turret farm because my plan is to run Zessus alone into the compound to rescue the people, and I have this safe point to retreat him to with Guardians and Sky Guardians, just in case he does get worn down quite a lot. So I continue to chip everything down. I walk up close to the splitter turret, and you can see how quickly Zessus just shreds something when he's in melee range. He's more powerful than Karos in melee range. It's kind of nuts. So I continue building my turret farm, and I can't build in the compound. I tried that, but as you can see, it's unbuildable ground, which is a bit awkward. Kind of makes sense, I suppose. There you see Zessus's issue of him just missing when an enemy is running away. So he's definitely got problems. As powerful as he is, he does have his issues. I don't bother with the gravitic turrets. Instead, I leave them there to just take them out later while Zessus is healing if I need to. I'm playing incredibly, incredibly safe, but I do retreat the Architect. Now I've got 2 regular Guardians and a Sky Guardian all upgraded. I don't need an Architect there anymore. Nothing is going to take that out that I know of that's left on the map. So I run Zessus back in. I'm just whittling and whittling and whittling away. There is this bug on this map. I assume it's a bug because the text, the voice lines imply that they should be doing something different. I just run straight to the terminal to let everything out, and I try and run my units back. And I've hoped this would actually aggro the humans and fix it, but the humans don't come and help you. The voice lines imply that they are supposed to, because he says, "You know the drill, Marines, focus on the primary hardpoints, move!" And they just don't, they just stay in the compound, and I was hoping by leaving the enemies alive, it would make the humans aggro properly, but it didn't. So I'm just turret building to make the enemies focus on them. I'm running the architect away to keep it safe. And something interesting, this walker doesn't really assault you like you would think it would. Once the fodder is down, it just sort of stands there. So the mission is actually quite easy. The only thing I'd really do different is I'd turret farm with the architect sooner to make Zessus kill off the other walker faster. And I would build some more turrets at this part of the base where the walker spawns, because it always spawns at the same point. It is consistent. So I'm just using the turret spam strategy to distract. I'll call it turret disarm, because the enemy focuses on that. And at this point, I'm just sacrificing the disciples. I even sell off some turrets, so I have more eco to do this more. And it works. And the humans are doing their own thing in the corner. Whoop-de-doo, no one cares. But this turret abuse is just... I'm so glad I discovered it. It's really handy. The Zessus actually gets hit a lot, so I decide to heal him whilst my money builds up again, but this mission is completely over. The enemy just doesn't aggro you, it doesn't finish you, the few sources that come aren't a threat, the towers are just too powerful, and so using turret disarming, I'm able to completely distract the walker and finish the mission. It's not hard. I did run out of units, but this is the final thing to do on the mission. For some reason I repair... Oh, I'm not just repairing the matter engine, actually. I'm boosting the economy from it to get more turrets. So I'm just rinsing this back and forth. It's such a neat strategy. It's actually really cool, and I'm glad I did it. Actually, I have a couple of disciples left. So... this is the end of the mission, pretty much. There's no realistic way to fail. I guess maybe the walker is coded to not go over matter engines, because that would blow up the walker. But it's a bit flawed, because it just doesn't finish the mission. It doesn't kill you, I mean. And then the mission is finished. It's nice and easy. Now for the next bit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Allow me to explain. The Masari campaign pushes the global battle system onto the player. This is a game mode called Conquer the World, and you are supposed to build units in the overworld here, and then use them to help take over these territories. However, that would still count as building a unit. I am counting that as building a unit. You are very clearly building a unit. You're clicking on a unit in order to produce it, so that's not allowed. But that's what this is balanced around. Karos is very powerful. In PvP, less so, but he is still powerful. And you are given 2 architects and a bunch of disciples. Units do carry over, so I'm going to keep these disciples alive if possible, for as long as I damn well can. But you can rush the enemy if you know where they spawn, and you can just destroy them with Karos before they're ready. It's really awesome. That's not as helpful as you would think. In some maps, it's an instant win. In others, no. So I am able to produce some stuff with my 2 architects, and that should help out a bunch. This first map is quite easy. There is a few situations where I have to wander around the map to find where the hell the enemy is. But something the devs did very well is if the AI realizes it cannot rebuild, it will run everything at you, which is good design. That's what a real player would do. If you can't rebuild, you try and end the game, right? You just try and go for it, because otherwise they'll rebuild and beat you. So the Reaper drones actually come and find me, and they kill some disciples. That really sucks. However, I'm able to pass that first mission. And here's the thing. The overworld is just slow and grindy. But I spend hours and hours and hours and hours trying to beat this. This is absurdly difficult. Much more difficult than you'd think. I'm looking at the research tree to remind myself of what there is. There's not as much as I would like, but I start building the citadel. I'm taking out these infantry with Karos to give me time to build up. Although I can't produce units, I can still produce what they call turrets. I can still produce turrets. Karos's whirlwind ability is absurdly powerful. It's obnoxiously strong. And I heal up Karos, and I'm trying to stall until the time is ready. His rage ability increases his attack speed and makes him take 75% less damage. But Karos just isn't powerful enough to solo everything, so I have to dance around with him, I have to run him back and forth, I have to heal him with the architects. The few disciples I've got prove instrumental in holding off the assault. I finally get the first matter engine up. I need to get the eco going. The funny thing about Masari is they have the best late game bar none, but their early game is the worst. They're definitely the late game race. And I'm not given much time to build up. I'm trying to get turrets and matter engines going. Fortunately, I don't need to worry about building a skirmisher portal and all that kind of stuff. It's basically just knowledge vault, research, and turrets that I need to be concerned with. I'm trying to keep the disciples on the back line, but I am able to start hitting things. Karos's tornado can hit air, which means it does hit the crowns on walkers, so it's not completely hopeless if I see a walker. This means that I can slowly whittle away at it. It's very slow. The ability for the tornado is more of a crowd control than it is for actual raw damage, though it does quite a bit of damage, and it does protect Karos from being hit as well, in the sense of units can't shoot him while they're in the tornado. This is a good thing. I'm able to get some turrets going, and it'll give me a place to retreat to. It'll help stave off some assaults. But the enemy's late game is actually better than mine, even though I'm playing Masari, because I don't have units. I don't have access to Peacebringers, which are ridiculous. Peacebringers are absolutely absurd. So I do manage to take out their creation core, which I will refer to whatever their main building is as an arrival site from now on, because it changes and it doesn't matter much to me what it is. So I take out their arrival site, I heal up Karos, and I continue to build turrets. Once the turret farm is going, it's not so bad. And the enemies will eventually run out of resources. I am still playing Masari, so the hyper end game is still very much in my favour. Eventually they will have nothing to absorb. And I'm running back and forth with Karos, and now they have 2 walkers, and when I see this I'm just like, oh no. No. So I'm looking for Reaper drones and various units and Glyph Carvers. If I can take out all of their Glyph Carvers and all their arrival sites, they will not be able to rebuild fresh walkers. They'll be able to build units from their walkers, but I can win that fight. I can really win that fight. Slowly but surely. And I'm building up all of my turrets. I'm trying to build all that up. I'm healing Karos to get him back into the fight quicker. As long as I can limit what they can build, I can outlast them. And the enemy is not smart enough to run both walkers right at your base to just completely overwhelm you. And you don't fail until all of your heroes are dead. So I can still run around the map with Karos. I am trying to sit back with Karos a bit more and let my turrets do the work, and then make him tank when the turrets are in range of the walkers, or the walkers are in range of the turrets. So I am able to shield up, get a big AoE damage. Actually, when the tornado is hitting like 4 or 5 hard points, it adds up to a lot of damage. The legs are something that Karos's melee attack can hit. He cannot hit the crown with his melee attack, but it's still good to hit the legs because it slows the legs down so they can't just walk over me. And walkers seem to get stuck a bit on heroes. I don't know if that's the case, but it seems to be the case. So I'm able to just whittle away at this walker, and thankfully the turrets are going to come online and really take over everything. I use the architects to heal whatever's being focused to keep it going. It also improves the attack rate. And then I find the detection drone. I don't know if the AI runs that in or if that was just a coincidence, but either way, the detection drone is there. I am able to take it out, and that is that map. So far it's looking really good. It's looking really good. The Sahara is mine. However, As good as it is looking, it gets worse. Much worse. Much, much, much worse. This is where we start to see the problem. The enemy just destroyed my citadel. I can't build a new citadel and a matter engine. I don't. I only have 300 resources. That's not enough. And there's so many enemies. Look at them. I am able to kite them and distract Karos. And there is one saving grace. There are fuel pumps on this map. That will generate me 1 resource per second-ish. This means I do have a way to get more resources. And this is where the power of heroes just really shows. Karos is able to run away and regen. And they're trying to take out my architects, but I still do have some disciples. So I am able to kite back. And as long as my architects survive, I can still rebuild. I do have infinite money, not just because I'm Masari, but I have this fuel pump. The fuel pump means I have infinite money also, so I kind of have double infinite almost. I am able to out-regen the Monolith and the Saucer by healing Karos with the Architects, and the Disciples can come in and hit the air for me. The Tornado does hit your own stuff, I believe, and it does lift it all up, so that's a problem. But I still am able to use the Disciples to keep Karos alive, and that's why I tried my best to keep the few Disciples I was given alive. I think I was given 6 at the start of this section of the campaign, and they've been so important. They've been so important. And I'm now building multiple matter engines just to get the eco going, and now I should be able to build turrets as much as the Architects are able to, I believe. This fuel pump just saves everything, and something really nice about it, actually something that sucks, is the brutes can just walk over your units. So I do actually lose 1 architect to that. Straight up. I cannot rebuild that architect. I do not get that architect back. I cannot rebuild it. That's really bad. So now I've got 1 architect to build turrets with, and they have a walker already, and it's just, Karos sucks against walkers. Tornado can still hit them, but it's not good. Karos is deliberately tanking here, and that's to buy time for my architects to build up more. I don't know why I build another matter engine. That's really stupid, especially since I have the oil rig. I'm producing enough resources anyway. Why am I building another matter engine? That oil rig is about as good as a matter engine already. Or is it a knowledge vault I'm building? If it's a knowledge vault... Oh, I think it's a knowledge vault. Actually, no, I'm stupid. I'm reverse stupid. Present me is stupid, not past me. Good job, past me. The main advantage of the knowledge vault is for me to upgrade my turrets. Especially with 1 architect, it means that I can upgrade turrets, and that's kind of like having a second architect. But I was able to stabilize and build up. Now these walkers are running at me though, and the AI cheats. The AI cheats, man. It fucking cheats. It knows where you are, and what it will do is it will do a scanny, pulsey thing to be like, oh look, we just happened to scout you. But every time it'll do it right on top of you to pretend like it's scouting you. I know what you're doing, you cheating bastards. So the AI knows where you are, so you can't even hide. You cannot hide. I could have built further away, but I had to stop sooner, because you have to pressure quickly as possible with Karos. You have to. Otherwise, the enemy is just allowed to build up, all of their units run at you, and you die. It's cruel. I take out 1 walker, I'm able to run back in with Karos, I focus on the repair chamber, and I am able to buy a bit more time for this single architect, the little architect that could. I'm trying to out-regen by healing up Karos, and now I'm turret spamming again. I'm turret disarming. This time the walker just walks over it, though. The walker cannot walk over your citadel, and I decide to run away with the architect and build a fresh citadel, because I realise I'm probably going to lose this one, and a backup one doesn't hurt. And I have the eco to do this because of this oil rig. This oil rig I captured, the AI did not go for it. I don't know why, but I'm happy. So what I do is I build a matter engine aggressively, and that is, if the AI runs over it, it will just blow up the walker instantly. I'm trying my best to keep everything alive, obviously, as much as I can. So I am able to use the tornado to damage this walker more. I think I lost all my disciples now, so it's Karos versus the world. Karos and an architect against the entire world, man. There's not much resources for the enemy on this map, fortunately. It's quite spread out, they don't gather it so quickly, so I can last that way. I have resigned myself to losing all of my buildings, and the citadel does go down. Excuse me. That's why I'm building a fresh one. The biggest loss here is actually the knowledge vault. You can see I'm overcapping on money. That's the oil rig coming in. It's very nice like that. I am able to snipe an opposing glyph as it's being built. That's a big... because the enemy doesn't cheat and have infinite money, as far as I'm aware. Sometimes they will spawn reinforcements from off the map, but they won't just have infinite money like some games do. So me hitting that glyph is a big drain on the enemy eco and a drain on the enemy time, which is arguably more important. I am able to take out their arrival site, and I'm finally able to start getting my turrets built. My eco is infinite, I'm overcapping, and fortunately I have one disciple left. One, or is that two? I didn't see. But I have some disciples left, so I am able to hit these monoliths. I opt to heal Karos. No, I have two disciples, thank goodness. I didn't actually lose all my disciples. But I heal up Karos because he is what's buying the time. It's kind of a I scratch your back, you scratch mine thing. Karos buys time for the architect builds time for Karos. But the enemy has a super weapon. Took me a while to realise. I have to find this super weapon because it can just blow everything up. I am able to get this Glyph Carver in the Tornado, and I'm prioritising Glyph Carvers, because again, if I take out all the Glyph Carvers and the arrival site, the enemy is very limited. The enemy has a Science Walker, I don't care, it's the least threatening kind of walker to me. I doubt they're going to go for Radiation Cascade, it takes too much research, it's so expensive, I would probably kill them before that, and it's the least actively threatening. I'm trying to build a Forward Guardian, trying to bait the Reaper drone, it doesn't work. It's just continuing to hit Karos and or drain resources, but that's fine. Heal Karos again, scratch his back, he scratches mine. I'm just building as much as I can when I can. If I had a second architect, this would be so easy. And I'm looking at this super weapon cooldown in the top left, and I'm worried, but the enemy isn't using it for some reason. And then it uses it, and boom! Rip turrets. Rip turrets. Because it's on cooldown, I opt to not focus on it, and I go for the Glyph Carvers instead. All the rest of the stuff doesn't hurt that much. The turrets getting destroyed isn't that big a deal. I didn't lose the Architect, I can rebuild, so there is that. And I can still run back and forth with Karos. I do have the Matter Engine and the Knowledge Vault in the north. The enemy did not finish those off, and that's really good. And I continue to heal and try and just play the long game. I really am trying for this long game. I don't have a Sky Guardian. That's an error. I should be making one. I think that's what I'm doing now. Karos is running back in, and thank God for Dark Matter Armor, dude. The light mode attack isn't as good as the dark mode. The Dark Matter Armor is obviously incredible, as you can see. I am able to take out the arrival site, and I don't know if I get this Glyph Carver. I don't. I check the health values. I'm not going to get it, so I run Karos away again. I constantly have to play on a knife's edge, and that's hard. That's really rough. One error, and that's it. I have to start again. You can actually fail, because a failure just sets you back. It doesn't actually fail you. So you can retry infinitely in the overworld. I don't save before each region. I actually choose not to do that. I think that's more in the spirit of the challenge. I catch an arrival site glyph. That's huge. That's so big. That's a lot of money. Every ounce matters. And I just can't take out the super weapon, though. That's the problem. So what I should be doing is I should be running the Architect away. I think I sell that Matter Engine to protect the Architect from a super weapon. The Architect dies. Oh no! Why did I run the Architect away? This is disastrous. This is the worst case scenario. I sell everything and I retreat. Yep, I retreat. It's not doable. It's not doable, so I just retreat. I give up. After all that. But look, it's beaten. It's beaten. It's beaten. What? That's where I learned. So, it turns out that if you beat the win condition building, or their main building, their arrival site thing, it counts as a mission success. So I spent hours. This gave me hope. I thought this was impossible. and it still might be, but a bunch of the maps I did, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours playing and playing and playing. And when I finally decided to take a break and counted the few successes I had, I'd forgotten to hit record. I'm gonna have to do it all again. So, allow me to explain the glitch. The glitch is, if you beat the win condition building, the arrival site, the main thingy, the main deployment point of the enemy, and you retreat or you get killed on your hero and you lose all your buildings and you essentially lose the map, you'll be treated as a loss, and if you didn't retreat, you will have to revive Karos, and it won't be counted as victory, and Altea will have some sort of stuff to say, something about, oh, my patience is large but not infinite. We can ill afford another defeat of this magnitude. Stop sucking! She doesn't say that, but, you know. And, yeah, the map gets greyed out as if you've finished it. Now, I'm replaying these missions because I forgot to hit record as faithfully as I could to the original. So what you're seeing is how I'm going to do it as close as I possibly can to the originals. But obviously the flow of the game changes. I make some different decisions and that's just how it goes. And it's slightly different. But I'm going to try to be as faithful as possible. Now, something that I didn't know in my first run through, and I do know now, and I won't spoil the result, is I just simply don't know if greying out the maps like that counts towards the final objective to get to the last actual mission, because these are all considered to be one mission in a way, and I don't know if that actually works or not. So, for all I know, it doesn't work. Again, I'm recreating this as faithfully as I possibly could. And so maybe with this glitch, I just won't be able to finish it and have to redo the entire thing and actually win on each map. We'll have to find that one out. As you saw, I got utterly destroyed on that first bit there. Karos just got annihilated. I misplayed, I didn't think they'd chase that hard, they just ran him down. It was rough and nasty, it just simply was. So I try a different country in order to have a better go of it and to get more chances to research. My overworld buildings are some will processors and the thing that gives me more research trees. On this map here, I only have access to 3 researches total. Now, an issue is I don't have access to the 4th tier of the Dark Branch research, which would give me permanent passive regenerating dark matter armor, which is so vital. It's so vital. It means that there's 2 main benefits to it. One, it regenerates in combat, which is the obvious benefit and the most powerful part. That's what you pick it up for. However, the second advantage is usually when your dark matter armor takes damage, there's a short while, it's about 5 to 10 seconds, I would guess it's about 8 if I wanted to be more precise, where you simply do not regen the dark matter armor. But with the 4th tier of research, this doesn't occur, and this leads to a much greater rate of regeneration than you would expect. All my disciples died, so I'm down to my 2 architects and Karos. And my primary goal is to stall the enemy out of resources. If I can snipe the main building, that's great. Assuming it works. If it's bugged out, then obviously it's not so great. But I'm recreating this faithfully. So in the event it doesn't work, then I will have to go back again and redo all the missions as actual wins. But I'm doing it faithfully to how I originally did it, and I won't explain if I had to redo that as well, but I'll tell you I've spent many hours playing, as you'll see why. And, yeah. But I will be playing for the long game, primarily. Now, the main issue I have is with only 2 architects, I build slow. I build very slow, obviously. And losing them is it. That's it. I'm just solo Karos, and that's a nightmare. It's dangerously slow, and I'm better off simply retrying. The Brute here is chasing my Architects, and I'm running them away to keep them alive, because Brutes can just walk over them and insta-kill them, and it sucks. So I kite them around my turrets, which I was very intelligent... Well, I was intelligent in placing them in advance. I was quite proud of that move, I was quite smart. However, I did not pack an answer to the saucers yet, so I'm simply stalling until I can get some Sky Guardians up. I'm taking out these turrets. Now, there's two major reasons why. They block off one bridge for me, so it just limits my movement on the map overall. But also, when I'm running around with Karos, I may be forced to run in that direction to regenerate. But if there's two turrets there, then he's just going to die. Karos is weak to turrets, which usually isn't that big a deal, but it makes it awkward to take them down. So this is going to be turrets the base. I've built some matter engines to get some income going. If all my matter engines go, then I'm in big trouble. There's a lot of kiting back and forth with Karos here, but this battle is very interesting. So I'm just massing turrets. I have enough income to sustain this now, and that's important. And then the enemy builds a super weapon. Now, something I did learn from my old playthrough, which I will not be faithfully recreating, at least in my choosing. Keeping your Architects near the base when that super weapon is up is asking for them to be shafted. The matter conduit's damage seems to be random. This stuff seems to just splodge in random places, so I can't comment too much on exactly how dangerous it is, but sometimes it screws you over and other times it barely damages you. I don't understand it, I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but the Architects can die to it, and that's such a big deal, because without the Architects, my whittle them down strategy goes out the window, kind of. So what I'm doing is I'm using Karos to stall and to do as much damage as possible. I realise I'm not getting that plasma turret, so I retreat. And I'm just playing the economy game. That's what I'm playing. I can eventually win. Turrets are very efficient. And one major advantage I have is the AI will feed infantry and light vehicles into my turrets over and over and over for no good reason. But I can't just sit back and let them completely run out without doing actions, because eventually walkers will come at me, and turrets don't solo walkers like that. And I need to defend multiple parts of my base, and I need to spread out my turret farms, because the super weapon will obliterate them all in a certain area sometimes. And you see me retreat these Architects, and that's so that when they super weapon, my Architects will not die. I'm building some, I believe it's matter engines off to the corner to keep safe, so I can gain income even if they heavily damage my base. They super weapon a turret farm, and that was a really good spot. That wasn't the most important turret farm, it's not near matter engines, and I can rebuild there easily enough, especially with that bridge down. That bridge down means that my units can my turrets can be built without much pressure, and I need to spread them out, which is good. I'm getting upgrades where I can, and I was able to afford my Knowledge Vault, which is important. Actually, Knowledge Vault is a very important item, so I can build Sky Guardians, because Karos' anti-air is his Tornado. It's not very efficient. It does kind of crap damage. It does hit high, but the damage is crap. So this walker, I had already whittled it down, and between my Tornado and my turrets, I am able to take it out. That's absolutely fantastic for me. It means, and the wreckage being there is a very good thing, because eventually in the end game, the the Reaper drones will start wandering around the map to find resources, and they'll stumble on that wreckage where my turrets will shoot them. This is fantastic. But also, and the much bigger value, enemy walkers will have to go around it, and that buys me a lot of time. I run in with Karos to get some more damage in on the main base. I take out the Spitter turret. The enemy will spend resources to replace that. This is good. And every grunt, every lost one counts. It really does. I'm playing the long game. I do figure out my opportunity to build a super weapon, and that's what I do. The super weapon is going to be fantastic. It's going to go down on walkers mostly. It means Karos can stay there for longer. He can take more hits, because oftentimes walkers will just stop and hit your hero rather than continuing. And there's another super weapon, and you can see what I mean with the random damage. That one barely hurt. Admittedly, dark matter armor, obviously, the nuts, but Through that, it barely damaged my turrets. They got damaged for over half, so they will die on the next one most likely. But most of them did survive, and that's important. So I focus on the super weapon, and I start to rebuild the turret farms. This is how I'm going to out-resource the opponent. I'll pick off the odd saucer, the odd monolith, the odd grunts, and I'm repairing, and that's an error. I should be building new ones, because building new ones is actually more efficient than repairing the old when I have infinite money. When I'm short on money, yes, repairing is effective, but this is where I realize there's 3 walkers coming for my base. That's worrisome. 3 walkers. That is concerning, especially since my super weapon is not yet ready. However, there is no more time for prep. I've got what little time there is, and I can't force more time onto it. All I can do is rinse and repeat the Kairos tornadoes, taking out the leg hard points, but there's nothing more I can do. I can't stay longer with Kairos because I need him to be healthy when his next set of abilities comes up. And I do mess up a bit with my micro, and these walkers are just a very big problem. This looks like game over, it really does. I have upgraded turrets. The upgraded turrets are incredibly powerful, and something I did learn at some point, and you will see it happen, is the Sky Guardian upgrade does reflect non-aircraft projectiles. I don't know if it actually damages the enemy or if it does just boing them off itself, but it's still a good upgrade to have because even if it just boings them off itself, it's still less damage taken. They're walking over everything, but the AI does not play around the matter engines. That's important. That's why Kairos isn't running in here. Boom, they walk over the matter engine. I swear their explosion is bigger than the circle says it is, I swear. A tornado to hit a bloody saucer for some reason. I don't know why. It's not smart. But overall, that walker assault so far is not so bad. I am able to pick off a few more infantry, and that's when I realised there's this random walker up there. What the hell? I do super weapon, and there's another walker. There's a science walker too. So they went north. That's great. That gives me more time to rebuild. You can see I built my super weapon near my turrets. There's obvious reasons behind that. And I'm just building turrets further back so that after my citadel dies, I have more time to prepare and have more stuff to fight off these walkers to keep my super weapon alive. I am still wearing down the walker. I bring these architects in to keep the guardian alive as long as possible. Then I had to change the citadel, and then I just changed my mind again, and I don't know what to do. I'm really panicking. This is in 300% speed, so obviously the gameplay is slower. But I'm just trying to keep everything alive as much as I can. I'm trying to stall for another super weapon. I look at another citadel, I realise that's not going to pay off. I'm building another turret, and that's when the super weapon goes off, and I panic. Oh my god. But the architects survived. The architects survived, dude. It was right on top of them. Not only that, they barely took damage. Ooh, that was a close call. That was such a close call. But that walker dies too. Now it's this science walker. Less threatening, the beam is powerful, but they don't kit out the horn hard points, it seems, in these missions. I don't understand it, I'm not going to pretend to, but I do super weapon to damage it more, to give Kairos some dark matter armor. It's helpful, I'm chipping it down. The science walker does not crush buildings, at least as far as I can tell. It seems like it's a walker that doesn't crush. This is a good thing. So, I'm still whittling it down bit by bit. I'm building turret farms, and I need to keep this the hierarchy super weapon. I forget what it's called. Matter conduit, something like that. I need to keep that in mind, because if my architects die, then I lose my economy advantage. So I'm continuing to build, and now I decide to build up some turrets and eventually a citadel in the lower left, because I don't think I can hold my position forever. I don't think it's doable. I will try, but I don't think I can. So I do build up the citadel. That's a fallback. That's to be some insurance, because it takes a while for the walkers to walk from the center island across. It just does. And that means that it will take more reps of my Karos abilities to do some damage before they reach me. I have my super weapon ready, and I decide to use it. That's in part to clear through the fodder, but also to take out the matter conduit. That's huge. That gives me a lot more lenience with my architects, and yeah, it's obvious. The enemy doesn't have a super weapon. That's much better for me than the enemy having a super weapon. So, I'm currently trying to siege the win condition building, or at least what I believe is the win condition building. I realise Karos is taking way too much damage, so I have to run away. And you can just see that I'm not realistically going to get it anytime soon. Karos takes a while to regen, Sorcerers repair. I have to run Karos so far away because these Sorcerers are chasing him for some reason. I'm trying my best to siege it down. It's tough. I see a bunch of infantry and I'm like, right, I'm just going to take it out. It takes a lot. I'll take a lot of damage getting to the place, and this way I can get an instant 1500 resources advantage. I nearly lose Karos. Look at this. I just walk him into the middle of a bunch of Reaper drones. A walker shoots him and I'm just like, oh my god, run. So I run. I get back to my base. I don't heal Karos with an architect just yet. I want to get these buildings up. Buildings are the MVP. I realise I've gone short on Sky Guardians. That's an error. So now I start healing Karos, and I abandon the healing of Karos once he's high enough, and I start to build the Sky Guardians. I should have prioritised them a bit more. That is a mistake, because Karos doesn't hit air very well. I super weapon 2 walkers. This is high value. Look at this. That's such high value. Do massive damage, and Karos now runs away. Again, rinse and repeating. I'm building up these turret farms, and I'm feeling pretty good, because my little island is holding. It's still there, even though I'd written it off long ago, and this is brilliant for me. This is absolutely fantastic. So I commit more turrets, and the reason for that is my super weapon is there. I don't want to sell it and remake it. The Reaper drone comes over and just dies. That's good. Reaper drones leave behind a pile of 1,000 resources after they die, and they cost 1,200. So, in theory, if I don't ever prevent the enemy from getting it, then I only did 200 resources worth of damage, which isn't much, but every bit helps. But more importantly, they have to rebuild that, or they'll just simply have less income. Both are fine for me. Both ease up on pressure, which is what I'm doing. If the pressure isn't heavy, I don't die. If I don't die, I eventually win. That's the point. That's the strat. So I continue to build turrets, building them everywhere. The super weapon goes down. I panic on Karos, but he doesn't die. He just loses dark matter armor. I'm able to do another rep and take out another walker. This is fantastic. A super weapon for good measure. And damn, I'm holding in. I build a fresh matter engine. And the eagle-eyed among you will notice that, maybe not because I'm playing it at super high speed, but the game bugs and thinks I have an extra matter engine, and I don't. So I'm only operating on 4 matter engines, which is essentially infinite money. But the game thinks I have the 5th, and I do not. It just bugged. But it's manageable, because I have infinite money. I just do. I find a Glyph Carver, I pick that off. The Glyph, I don't even know where that was, I couldn't find it. And yeah, I build a second knowledge vault for security purposes. I have the money, why not? I'm not maxed out on turrets, so you could definitely make a case for that. But I just built the knowledge vault because I suspect my super weapon is going to fall and I want to rebuild it as soon as possible. I'm going for their matter conduit again. This would be a really big pick-off, and I know my super weapon is coming up, so I should be able to secure it. I do use both my spells on Karos, and I do take it out. That's perfect for me. That's so good. I do manage to get a nice super weapon at their base. I'm continuing to build turrets. Karos is now taking very little pressure next to their base. Sorcerers just don't hurt that much. Sorcerers are good because they're flying and they have utility, but they're not actually very good at each individual thing they do. They do a lot of stuff. I do take out their win condition building, and because this map was so epic already, I just decided to finish it. And also, I don't know, again, recreation for the lost footage, but I don't know if not finishing properly with the victory screen will let me actually finish the campaign. So I want to pass the missions I can, just in case something doesn't work properly for whatever reason, but in part it's the completionist in me, and it's obvious I've won. I took out the main win condition building. The enemies have taken my little island, but I've got way more turrets. They're going to run out of stuff. It's a fact. Their walkers are already going around the map, and I'm at the point now where I'm building oracles for vision. So I'm now going to stop talking and fast forward the speed to 1000% so that you can see how the map finished. I cut out the overworld stuff. It is quite simply me building another research thingy, so I now get 4 branches on, well, 4 total researches on the tech tree. It's all going into dark. Unless I have leftover research and leftover money, everything is going into dark. I need that maxed out dark matter bonus. This map is quite the treat. This goes incredibly interestingly. So, I start off with my citadel. I pick the location I'm on because there's a bridge. If the bridge goes down ever, the enemies can't cross it unless they take walkers, which gives me more time. More time is ideal. That's exactly what I need. I did the math. You cannot research the full branch of your starting funds. You have to build a matter engine. I lose an architect straight away, by the way. That architect just got walked over by the brute. I'm on 1 architect already in the opening seconds. It's a disaster. So I'm playing merry-go-round with this architect to keep it alive. Karos's tornado means he can actually deal with these things. Brutes destroy. They hurt, man. They just hurt. I'm sure they're expensive and awkward to produce, but damn they hurt. They just destroy heroes like no tomorrow. So I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is wasting so much time. But to max out on the research I need, I have to produce a matter engine, which means I have to produce a citadel. And because I've spent time on that, and I'm spending resources, I simply must now build turrets. So it's actually a lot slower than you'd think, and being on one architect hurts me even more. I do repair this one guardian because I'm short on currency, and money is a thing I just need. I'm building the knowledge vault even though I'm short on money, and that is purely so that I can afford the anti-air turrets, the Sky Guardian. I need anti-air. I Karos. He doesn't hit air well, so I need that damned Sky Guardian. You can maybe see my impatience with how my camera is moving and how my cursor's moving, but I'm frantically checking everything. I can finally build this flipping Sky Guardian, dude. I build it next to my other Guardian for the obvious synergy of one hits ground, one hits air. That's just good. And this is going to be my retreat point with Karos. So I managed to successfully get this turret up. I'm now going to try and boost my income. My thinking at this time was doing my research. And this is me doing maths. That's me doing maths there to see how much I need. And at that point, that was the point at which I was thinking, oh, can't I just research from my starting funds and just do it that way? No. No. So I do more research, and I'm not under assault now. That early pressure was a bit of something, but it's okay. Now I build another matter engine, I realise it's just going to be way too slow, man. It's just going to be way too slow. So I do decide to build another matter engine, and I'm suspiciously left alone. It's very suspicious. Something does not smell right to me. I build a third matter engine. They're all out of range of each other so that they don't blow each other up and cause a chain reaction and just destroy your entire base. I've made that mistake before when I was learning the game. Not smart. Don't do that. The Guardians are doing exactly as I wanted them to do, as you can see. That was perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm just checking the other research trees to make sure there's nothing valuable that I could be going for that I'm not. And I'm just fighting off infantry. It's a necessity. I need to slow this impact. And at this point, I'm still playing the long game. I have no reason not to. Even though I'm down an architect and my long game is muted heavily, I'm still playing for it while I can. I don't see a reason not to. Especially since I still need more time before I can acquire the maxed out research. My tornado picks up my own architect, so Karos does this thing sometimes with a tornado where he just paths weirdly, and that's what happened there. Fortunately, the architect did not die, but I was really angry. I was in a Discord call with my friend. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. But it lived. I'm defending my matter engine for obvious reasons, and I'm just using my abilities to clear out infantry. There's no walkers that I can realistically fight. I'm still sore from the first time I came to this map and got blown up. So, I do manage to get my research done. That's when I decide to take Karos and go for the main building, because he will constantly heal now, and as previously mentioned, he'll just consistently regenerate. There's not that awkward pause. I find a bunch of Reaper drones, and I'm thinking, hell yeah, I can disrupt their economy so hard. That's 4 Reaper drones. They have to rebuild them. They have to spend time and resources on that. That's fantastic. So that's what I choose to do. I'm still building turrets to help with any walkers that might come. It's a good retreat point. Turrets are basically my units. Not as good, but I'll take what I can get. And my buildings are very durable now. They're very durable. These awkward assaults incoming, they're not that big. They don't really matter that much. I find another nice Reaper drone. So I build turrets outside the matter engine explosion range. That's why I build extras. Even though I have infinite money anyway after a certain point, it's nice to have the extras. It gives you leniency. And you can see there how the explosion radius just seems so much bigger than it says it is. So I build more turrets to fend off this infantry and to play the eco game. This is good. The enemy has a super weapon ready. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I got away with murder. It was a low impact super weapon overall. I take out the spitter turret because it hurts. Radiation hurts. And it's something I can get a full confirmed kill on. That's important. Full confirmed kill. It means there's no repairs, regen, nothing. It's gone. These plasma bombs from the Lost Ones hurt. and I get caught by a few while I'm microing elsewhere. But I am able to clear through this swath of infantry, and that's really good. And I'm still building up, building up, building up. And this is really interesting, this two-fronted game I'm playing with a single architect and Karos. Trying to find somewhere for Karos to regen, and you can see these grunts just getting fed in. This is why this strategy is so good. The enemy just runs units in and feeds them away, and that's free resource advantage and free time, because the enemy will then spend time redeploying those units. I find more Reaper drones, but I'm more interested in taking out the Walker. And I'm still surviving, but these walkers are running at my base. They're running at my base, and it's a problem. I build another knowledge vault, and I upgrade it. Because I have infinite money anyway, and I wanted the turret upgrades, but I don't really have time for the turret upgrades. So I run Karos back, thinking I have to defend. That's what I tried to do. Science Walker's primary weapon does a lot of damage. I tried to turret disarm, and it's decently effective. It is decently effective. It buys me time for Karos' cooldowns. It's time that he's not getting hit. And it just blows them all up, which is fine because I have infinite money. And oh, the super weapon, I wasn't paying attention and I lost the architect. Is Karos against the world? Usually I would surrender. I would retreat and surrender, but I don't, because I've got this maxed out dark research now, and that's a powerhouse. Masari are a different race at that point. It's just different. That's the end game power that Masari are known for. So I abandon the base. I'm not defending it against 3 walkers, and I'm just grateful now that the base is distracting the enemy. I walk past these Reapers because I'm like, okay, I have to take out this theory core. I have to take out the wing condition. The walkers are distracted with my base. This gives Karos breathing room. Breathing room to just take out this wing condition building. And it is a gamble, because I don't know if it works. I don't know if the campaign works properly with the strategy I'm using. But the base has done its job. It's taken so many hits. It's distracted for so long. The matter engine's blowing up does a lot of damage. It doesn't matter much for me at that point, because I don't have income. It's just the distraction, which is another advantage of the base. Just buys time. Karos runs in, hits the theory core even more. I get a nice glyph snipe. I don't know if that really matters, but I do get it. And at this point, I'm just YOLOing on the theory core. I don't care if Karos dies. Then I change my mind. I really don't want to risk. I wait for my next rep of abilities to come up. And you only lose when all your production buildings and your hero is taken out. So I am able to do another rep, and boom. I retreat on the spot. I just want out. And then I get caught by the gravitic turret. So my transport just gets frozen and I get defeated. But it's grayed out. So maybe this works. We'll have to find out for sure. Something I would like to explain that's not technically faithful to the original but doesn't really matter is I do find Zessus in my original playthrough. I didn't for some reason. I don't know why. And it was interesting. He's not used anyway. The only thing I use him for is for overworld stuff. You get, as far as I know, infinite time in the overworld, and Zessus I just use to help produce more buildings quickly. That's it. He's not used otherwise. But it was interesting to note in the first time I tried it, he was bugged and did not show up. Karos' movement is painfully slow. You see me trolling with Zessus a bit, showing how much faster he moves than Karos, but there's just no point in going in with Zessus. He doesn't get builders, I can't give him units, there's no real value to him. They should have just buffed the movement for the campaign. I get it in regular Conquer the World, but in this campaign they should have buffed your movement speed. So, this map. This is... well, you'll see what happens. So I decide on my settling location. I forgot where the enemy spawned for this one, so I kind of wander around in circles a bit until I realise probably where they had spawned, and I guess based on the paths of enemies and where I'd already been, I see some grunts, and I think, okay, they came from the right, I've already searched in the upper right, they're probably in the lower right. So I do eventually spot them in the lower right, or the southeast, if you will. And I get my citadel up. There's not many choke points to defend. I saw the grunts, and this is where I realise where the enemy probably is. Without any choke points to defend, this gets a little bit awkward. And look at this army. Jesus Christ. It just runs straight for my citadel. And I immediately realise I am not holding that. I decide to build a matter engine right in the corner to maybe rebuild. And I buckle in for the long game. But I'm running in circles. Karos is getting absolutely nuked. I walk into the turret, which is painful. And I'm at a loss. I'm waiting for my regen. They're taking out my citadel, which is very durable. So I think there's a chance. The matter engine goes up, and all I can do is wait for that architect. Now they've got a walker in my way, and I'm just like, no, I'm hitting your creation core. Screw it. I do a bit of damage, and I run off. The tornado is my safest way of doing damage, and the rage gives me a lot of damage reduction. So that's how I go about it. They do get the citadel. I'm miles away from affording another. I could have maybe been cheeky and built another matter engine, and in retrospect maybe I should, but I was panicking. I just rush this creation core, boom, it pops, and I just run off. I'm just like, nope, 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 I'm out. I don't want to retreat on top of this brute, because if Karos dies, you have to spend money to revive him or wait for him in the overworld. So I want to just get the full retreat for time purposes' sake. And I do get the tornado off, and I do retreat, and I'm just thinking, again, recreating for the original, what the hell am I going to do if it doesn't count for the final flags? What if this cheesy way of doing it, this glitch, doesn't count? But I take what I can get, and I'll deal with that when I come to it, because what else can I do? Honestly. Okay. Buckle yourselves in. Grab a drink, grab some food. I go into this territory, and I get shot at. Oh boy, this is an absolute adventure. An absolute adventure. So, I build in the corner here, next to the turret. I cannot capture this turret. I had to take the shots from the defenses. Zessa says he could lead a siege in to take out the defenses. I never actually understood what that meant, and quite frankly, I'm not using Zessus even if I were going to be doing that, because I'm recreating the original playthrough. But I build by the turret anyway, because that prevents the enemy from getting it, and that's just one less spot on the map that's a problem. So I start off by taking out their turret. Gives me a lot of movement. That's going to be my main entry point. I want it out of the way. There's a lot of sources and a brute, so I'm running Karos around. You're watching this at 200% speed, by the way. I start my research, I get my citadel, I immediately build a turret. I'm gonna need these turrets, and I get the matter engine going right after that. I can't fight off brutes and defilers straight up with Karos. I have to use this tornado to whittle them down. They can't fight me back while they're tornadoed. This is good. That's what I need. There's a lot of infantry to kick off. And there are a thing known as hierarchy forces in the overworld that stay on this region. I don't know if these kills are permanent. So even if I fail, there's a chance that the kills are permanent and these units don't respawn. That would already be a win, because I get infinite retries just by the overworld's map design. But my architects are just getting shafted, my turret's getting shafted, and I'm just so overwhelmed. And I'm already thinking, is this even possible? Is this possible? I don't know. My architects get shafted. I don't have enough to rebuild another citadel. I'm trying to desperately keep this matter engine alive. It dies. Everything dies. I give up. I just throw Karos in, let him die. It's not going to matter. This is anger and frustration, me giving up Karos there. That did not go as planned. I pay to instantly revive him, and I fly him over. And I will not make you watch this. I'm just toying about whilst I'm waiting. Karos gets shot on the way in. I could lead a siege mission with Zessus, but I'm recreating the old playthrough. And also, to be completely frank, it's not worth doing. I change up my strategy. I deploy Karos near the enemy base, which means my architects are going to build a bit later, but I'm going to get more reps of my spells on the enemy infantry, because I realised the infantry is what overwhelmed me. Their units just completely devastated me and nothing else. So I used my abilities early. This prevents the turret from being captured just yet, which is nice. For one, it gives me more space to maneuver. It's less constrictive. And I get to damage the infantry a lot. This is fantastic and exactly what I need. And I see this is too much for me to fight, so I run away. And all I am going to do is rinse and repeat this tornado on all of these units and all of this infantry. And all the king's horses and all the king's men. In order to delay the assault on my base, I just needed more time. So I immediately build a turret. That's to support Karos. If brutes come, I can run in circles near the turret, and the turret will help Karos in that way. And I decide to build a secondary turret. I'm not sure why, in retrospect, that's a bit of an error. One is plenty, I think. If one isn't enough, then two probably isn't either. And I do build the matter engine now. I have to build a matter engine. It's mandatory. I needed the earlier air turrets, really. That's what I needed. But I didn't. I made an error. So I commit to the matter engine. And I'm just going to keep on rinse and repeating with Karos. Move up forward. And they have not yet taken this turret. That's handy. That's really nice for me. That's fantastic. So I run Karos in. And I see some Reaper drones. And I think, hey, let's get some damage on the Reaper drones. Harass their economy. That would be really good. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm still rinse and repeating, and I am continuing to build up here. Build another matter engine. I've now got a brute chasing me, so I have to be cautious of that. Now it would appear that I've successfully staved off the worst of the assault. I'm going to continue with my spells, of course, and it's looking good. I'm feeling much better about this attempt. It seems like I maybe whittled down the numbers in my last assault, I'm not sure. It seems like I've just got more space overall. My Guardian is getting harassed, so what I decide to do is I decide to repair the Guardian with one Architect, and I decide to build the Forbidden Knowledge, the Knowledge Vault, with the other. I accidentally switched to Light Mode. Don't know how I managed that, but I used the Light Mode ability thinking I can do both that and the Dark Mode ability. It does count as refreshed for some weird reason. I've tried it elsewhere and it doesn't work. Maybe there's something I did that I just don't know about. But either way, I do scare off the Saucer. The Knowledge Vault completes, and now I build a Sky Guardian right next to the regular Guardians to scratch each other's backs, to use a phrase that's been used earlier in this video. One helps the other helps the other. It's nice. Nufi is harassing me. Nufi is powerful, and he does regen, and the enemy does run him away when he takes a certain amount of damage. So Nufi is just a nuisance-fi, if you will. It means I'm not regenerating Dark Matter armor as quickly. Obviously I take some direct damage to it, and there's that awkward pause before it starts regening again. It's a problem. It's painful. It hurts. Stop it, Nufi. They have captured the turret. Oh no, they haven't captured it. Sorry, no, not yet. That comes a bit later. Of course they will capture it. I'm trying desperately to pick off at least one hard point on this Walkus. They have to rebuild it, because I have to play the long game here, it feels like. I don't see much of a way elsewhere. Their main win condition building has the turrets tied to it, so it's much harder to attack than normal. So my regular rush strategy, which worked in the last map really well actually. That map took me less than 10 or 20 minutes. Didn't take long. And it's just not going to work here, it seems. I don't even risk it. They did take the turret, but because I had weakened it earlier, I deliberately positioned my tornado such that I hit the infantry and the turret, and I did it again. That meant that I was able to just take it down. It's out the way. It's not a problem anymore. Thank God for that. Got more matter engines going, and I commit to yet another matter engine. I want this eco. I'm going for the super weapon here. I'm committing to this eco. Speaking of super weapons, the enemy has one, and playing around this is going to be key. I have learned my lesson, and I am going to play around this one better than before. Karos isn't getting to regen Dark Matter armor much right now because he's just holding the line, but the turrets are helping him. We are clearing out swaths of enemies. We are limiting their money. We are taking away their money 300 at a time. That adds up. There's a decent chunk of resources on the map. There's a fair bit, but not mountains and mountains. So running the enemy short on resources is valid and viable. Very doable. So, I choose to do some more damage to the hard points. I aim for the repair chamber. I am able to tornado infantry at the same time. This is so perfect for me, actually. It worked out so damn well. I can research 6 tiers, so I will go for 4 dark, 2 balance. Partly for the structure sight range, it's just handy, but there's no other real benefits to the other research tiers. I just kind of did them because I had excess money and 25% sight range it's okay. I leave these infantry to the turrets. I'm no longer in need of defending with Karos constantly, so the turrets can definitely do some of their own work. This makes the enemy regular units much less threatening. I'm able to do some big damage to that walker. It's very, very nice. I cannot build more matter engines. They're not bugged on this map. I have my full 5, thank goodness. I'm able to start getting the knowledge vault upgrades going, and I start to upgrade turrets because I'm drowning in money. This is good. Getting harassed on the backlines a bit, that's awkward. So I decide to build some more turret farms, and I spread them out a lot. This is to prevent saucers and monoliths from being a headache. I cancel my upgrades, because this assault seems to be a lot. New Fire's here. I'm trying to chase him down with Karos to hopefully pick him off. And he gets away on 6%. 6! Ah! So that sucks. I abandoned building that Guardian because I see the super weapon is coming up. So I keep on building these turret farms in obscure places and keep my architects away from the valuable areas. The enemy seems to prefer targeting your base over units and heroes. This is good for me. If my architects survive, then I can rebuild everything. The super weapon goes down, it hits my turret farm and some of my citadel. That's not so bad, actually. The turrets didn't take much of a beating. That was okay. If I had to pick a super weapon, that would be one of the best ones that could have happened. So I'm starting to get these upgrades. These turret farms are going to pay off big. I'm wearing down this walker before it arrives. Yes, the enemy will re-kit hardpoints. They do that on this mission specifically, or this region. But that costs them money and resources. So I'm okay with it. It's honestly fine. I would rather take out the hardpoints permanently, obviously. But making them spend money is good. It's just good. That's necessary. That's what I'm doing. Gonna keep on rinse and repeating, rinse and repeating, rinse and repeating. I'm trying to build a forward turret farm, so it's out of range of any super weapons that may target my citadel. It's gonna be difficult to get up, but I do go for it. I get the Guardian down, I go to upgrade it, and I go for the Sky Guardian, which is going to be very nice. And this Guardian, whilst it's upgrading, will not defend itself, so I do use Karos to defend here and spend the rage to just clean through the grunts very quickly. The Guardian is very nearly ready. I do focus the Architect on it a bit to get it ready sooner, because I don't know if more ground units are coming. And Nufi comes, he gets just destroyed and runs away. This is good. The next Sky Guardian comes up, and very soon my super weapon will be ready. Very soon. The super weapon is going to be obviously high value. It's a super weapon. But the advantage of it not only doing damage, and it also hits high, which is great because that's something I struggle with. When I say high, I don't necessarily mean air, although it does hit air. I mean our Walker's crown. Only my Tornado or my turrets will hit Walker crowns. And the super weapon actually hits that as well, which is very handy. Once again, the enemy super weapon is coming up, so I retreat my architects, I get them into a safer spot. I can rebuild all of this, that's what I'm focusing on. Whilst I'm waiting, I can build another turret farm. It's nice, it'll catch saucers, it will catch other flyers, it will hit the enemy if they happen to walk. It's just good. It's a way of using my income whilst I'm waiting for the super weapon to happen. Finish off the Guardian, get a Sky Guardian, starting to pair them up much more efficiently now and effectively, valuing it more. There's the super weapon. This one hurts. Look at that. I just destroyed everything. And when I saw that, my stomach dropped. Barely anything survived. One Sky Guardian, which the Walker cleans up. I now have a two-faced Guardian. Rank 4 of the Dark Matter research does help, but not against an assault that vicious. That is just raw viciosity. I don't know if that's a word. I'm going to say it is. But this pure ferociousness, this aggression, this absolute exodus of units is going to be a massive issue. Reaper drone comes in, I get the kill. That's a nice pickup. Doesn't solve the assault, but it is a nice pickup, and we'll take it. I'll definitely take it over nothing. Desperately just building turrets left, right, and centre. Everywhere and anywhere. Every bit of value counts. They're more valuable than they look as well because of the passive dark matter region. I try and keep this particular Guardian alive, and I do succeed for quite a while. Does quite a bit, but I retreat my Architects. I'm taking no risks. I build more turrets further back. The Walker's lower speed pays off big for me here. It's really nice. The turrets have big range. I do opt to heal Karos a bit. He took a lot of damage, and I need him to be able to do his reps of spells safely. I now see this repair chamber that I was completely oblivious to before, and I do go for it. The Matter Storm is nearly ready. There's like 20 seconds on it. I'm just holding out, desperately waiting for it. Desperately, desperately, desperately waiting. And I'm just trying to keep these Architects going, keep everything safe, man. The Science Walker doesn't walk over buildings. It's nice. I do the Matter Storm there to take care of this Science Walker so that my Architects can finish building turrets. That Storm might have been more value on the Habitat Walker, but this lets me get more turret farms, and I've established the turret farms as my win con. That's my win condition in conjunction with Karos and the super weapon. So I opt to sacrifice advantage elsewhere in order to deal with that Science Walker and thus preserve my turret farms and continue building in that area because I think it's quite a valuable area to build in. It's a path that leads straight to my super weapon, and the AI will not walk around the turrets like a real player could or would. Instead, it will rather walk through it and not walk over it like getting the Walker Crush advantage. It will just kind of eat the turret fire. This is good. This is very, very good. That's what I need. Rinse and repeating here. This Habitat Walker's looking quite damaged. My turrets do a number. And the super weapon goes on top of Karos. I raged for the 75% damage reduction. I'm 50% sure that saved Karos. I'm not 100%, but I'm 50%. The Matter Engine goes down, that hurts, but I had to abandon it. And my base is in shambles. I have no Citadel, so I have to build a new one. But I have survived so far. The Science Walker did go down. That's a lot of income for the enemy just gone for nothing. And now there's 2 Walkers walking at me. It's a problem. Once again, prioritizing the repair chamber, double spells, going for it, looking to do the big damage. There's still 2 Walkers. They take so long to kill. And they've dealt with most of my turrets as well. That's the problem. It's not like I've got a bunch more turrets. But... oh wait, not yet, sorry. The super weapon just blasts 2 Walkers. Karos still nearly dies through that. That region's a lot of dark matter armor. That was a double Walker super weapon on top of my hero, and he nearly died. What am I supposed to do? How could this have gone any better for me? What could have gone better? What could possibly have gone better? I don't know. I've not even had time to upgrade my turrets. So, I'm sieging here. And it looks like finally this Walker might actually be going down. I have to run Karos away from the Matter Engine. I have to abuse the camera manipulation. Not abuse, use it to see stuff. These sources are annoying. I don't have any Sky Guardians. That's why I'm building the Knowledge Vault again, I believe. And that's to get the Sky Guardians. I have Karos tank the sources a bit. And then I build the Sky Guardian. This is good. This will fend off the Saucer. I have another rep of spells. I run in, do the Tornado, getting the value. The Habitat Walker is still there and it's getting kitted out again. That's an issue. Once the hard points are fully destroyed, though, they can't be replaced, so that's something to relieve the pressure. Leg hard points are valuable. That buys me more time is more turrets is more damage is more economy. War of attrition. Probably the best way to put it. So, I'm trying to bait the Walker into targeting Karos rather than the turret. It's not working. Bit unfortunate. Rather than... oh, yeah, the super weapon hits and kills an Architect. That sucks. But rather than kill off the Walker that's mostly damaged, I opt to leave that to my turrets and use my Tornado value on the Habitat Walker. Seems more damage efficient to me. I'm going to hit more hard points. Super weapon is up again. The super weapon should actually finish off this damaged walker, I hope. So running Karos. Boom! Another double walker super weapon. This is fantastic. Getting all this damage in. The first one dies. The Habitat Walker's heavily damaged. I'm able to get the turrets up and going, and I'm holding on by a thread. I control 5% of the map, but I'm hanging on by a thread. This Habitat Walker's coming, and I think it might blow itself up on the Matter engine. So I'm building this Sky Guardian now. The turrets are upgrading. Karos is looking in danger, so I cancel out the turret upgrades so they can shoot and help me deal with this brute. Maybe an error, maybe not, I don't really know. But my turret does survive. The Matter engine got destroyed, that sucks, but it does survive. I build another turret rather than repair the old. It's more efficient. I get a tornado in, I'm trying to damage both walkers. I do, but it's going to take a while. Crown hard points are a problem for me. I'm trying to get these turret upgrades. I'm on one architect. I lost one to the super weapon. I was too busy microing 80 things at once. And this is hard, man. It's so hard. So I upgrade and build another turret. My income is so low. I have a single Matter engine now. This is a big issue. A single Matter engine sucks. Now I'm tornadoing and not raging. I'm going to save my rage for when Karos' health is damaged, because if his health is damaged and he's regioning, he'll regen health and dark matter armor. This means that my 75% damage reduction will apply twice, in a sense, because I'm regioning on 2 stats. So it's something that I should probably call effective health value. If I heal for a set value, which I do essentially on 2 stats, then the more I heal relative to my health, percentage-wise, is better. If I'm regioning on 2 stats, then I'm healing double. That's just how the math works. So that's what I decided to do. Now I'm just doing double here because I have to micro other stuff, so I just use Karos' ability. I look at the Architect. I don't need to over-optimize there, so I don't. And I'm running the Architect away because of this Matter Storm, the Matter Conduit. And it just nukes the area. It hurts my super weapon. I'm running the Architect to the very corner. I'm trying to get Matter engines up. I'm going to try and rebuild in this far off corner. I want my super weapon to survive as long as possible, because I'm not going to get to rebuild it for a while if it goes down. There's just no way. I'm on this desperate hold. So I tornado to get rid of this infantry. I'm trying to get as much damage in on the walker as I can while I'm at it. I'm trying to hold this area. If the enemy is distracted, my Architect can rebuild. That's the strategy. That's the plan. The main thing I need to be careful of is the Matter engine. If that explodes, it's going to hurt Karos. I need to avoid being in that area when it's going to go down. But up until that point, I do have a lot of freedom. This Science Walker hurts. Just hurts. Hurting my Citadel. I have barely any turrets. I'm feeling pretty damn hopeless at this point. Because don't forget, their creation core, whatever it is, hell of a lot more durable, has defenses. Their base is just harder to siege and assault. I could try to go for a sneaky backstab with a super weapon, but if it fails, then it fails, and I just lose the mission. They also tend to keep repairers near there, so I feel like I just need to win the map out overall first, and then I can sort of build some turrets and turret creep my way in, draw aggro, all that kind of stuff. That's how I'm feeling. I'm trying to distract this Saucer to attack Karos. I do Tornado. Doesn't do much. I'm hoping it hits him rather than the Guardian. It does seem like the Tornado draws in the Saucer's projectiles, so maybe it protected the Guardian that way. I'm not 100% sure. I do get the Matter engine up, so I have 2 now. This is good, and I get the Citadel going. That's going to take a long time on one Architect. And this Walker is doing a number on Karos. So this time I am letting Karos' health drop, and I am going to super weapon whilst he's healing his health as well as dark matter armor. More efficiency, obviously. Tornado, damage, AoE. We've seen it 50 times at this point. It's good. We do the big hurt pain thing. Awesome. The Matter Storm's coming up again. I don't know how much more of these super weapons I can take, man. I don't know. I'm worrying. The Citadel is nearly dead. Because I'm low on currency, I believe I sell it. and I get some money back, which is actually very nice. I'm not operating on infinite money. Now I'm a genius. Because I sense the knowledge vault is going down, I start building a series of Sky Guardians and then abandon them. This is because you only need the research tech to start the building. That means that if the knowledge vault falls while I've got Sky Guardians already started, I may continue them. That's awesome. I thought that was Galaxy Brain. That was Galaxy Brain. Roll, save, tap head, all that meme. That guy tapping his head, ha. But no, that was genuinely a smart play. I complete one to help out Karos, and this matter engine doesn't die quick. The nice thing is, these harassment pushes barely do damage. They barely do damage because of this permanent region on the dark matter armor. So nice. I opt to start building more Sky Guardians near my matter engines. This is for obvious reasons. I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. I find a Reaper drone, and this gives me hope. I've been feeling pretty hopeless for a while now, but I have hope. If their resource gatherers are now on my part of the map, they must be running short. They can't have much left, right? Logically. Why would their walkers be there otherwise, the Reaper drones? This gives me hope. I was feeling pretty hopeless. Now I have hope. And hope to a man with no hope is like water to a fish on dry land. I was happy. I'm saving the super weapon. I'm trying to make a good assessment of the situation. I'm trying to get this citadel up before the walkers come. I need to hold this citadel. It will take less damage. It gets full dark matter armor because of my upgrades. And there's 3 walkers. So I get 3 walker super weapon. Look at that. Oh, that's a wet dream right there. God damn it. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It didn't do anything. What did it do? It didn't do anything. It just poked them. So I try and rebuild down south again. That's what I try to do. I abandoned my top base, and I'm just kind of pulling the hierarchy everywhere. Chipping them down, super weapon, Karos, just weakening them bit by bit whilst making them run around the map. Because the AI does not spread out its units, well, its walkers. And then the worst thing possible happens. The super weapon kills off my architect. It kills off my architect. I cannot rebuild anymore. What you see is what you get. It's Karos and the super weapon against the world. This punches my hope away a bit. But I still think I can outlast. It's still possible, I think. That's what I tried to do. I take out the repair chamber, just make them spend money. Make them spend money. Make them spend money. In any way I can. That's what I'm going for. So, something I could have gone for is maxed out balance branch. That means matter engines will start doing damage. Not just on explosion, but they just like drain away at enemies and drain resources from the map. And that is a strategy you can use. You can build up these matter engines next to buildings and stuff, and it will actually harvest resources from the building, which doesn't matter that much for Masari. It's more the 50% increase they like, but it does take away those resources from the opponent, and that is quite big. But the dark matter armor is just better for my purposes. I look for a 2-walker super weapon, can't find it, so I just go for 1. This is more hard points being taken out. This is less strength. It's just good. I'm still trying to outlast. I still have this super weapon. The super weapon can carry me. It can. It can start to take out these walkers, and I can just win the super long game. That's the plan. Maybe it'll go down at some point, but I'm hoping by then I've done enough damage that it doesn't matter. I don't know. I really just do not know. Going for the repair chamber again. They did rebuild it, but doesn't matter. I take it out again. More money. Just every penny counts. Every penny. I look at this knowledge vault. I'm like 69. Nice. Reaper drones in the very corner, and the walkers walked over buildings. I didn't plan this, but they walked over buildings, which is now resources the enemy cannot farm. That's perfect. I wonder if there's a way I could exploit that. I don't know. I didn't do it in this attempt. So, Perfect for me. I see that and I'm like, yes! That's like 5,000 less resources or something. I don't even know, but it's a lot. Another super weapon, but the dark matter armor keeps this super weapon going. It just keeps it going. The destroyed walkers do provide income for the enemy, but it doesn't matter. Every ounce, every hardpoint, every grunt, every saucer, every brute, everything I take out is one step closer to victory. Even a grunt is a win. One grunt is a win. I'll take it. This saucer is just slowly hurting me. One saucer does do slightly more damage than dark matter armor passive regen, so it's not like I can out-regen it forever, but it buys me a hell of a lot of time. I get a nice tornado hitting a wide group of infantry. I hurt the saucers a bit. Doesn't really matter, but I do hurt them. I get another super weapon. I'm trying to take out one saucer with this. And can anyone explain what happens here? At some point, I'm able to target a flying saucer with Karos. I don't understand it. I was definitely able to do it though. Maybe it's because of the super weapon? I really don't know, and it only happened during the super weapon. So that's my current conclusion. Maybe it gives Karos a ranged attack whilst he's inside it. I don't know. I was able to do it though. If someone could explain that, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. Thank you kindly. This one grunt's harassing me. I poke it, I take it out. Another Reaper drone? Yes! Yes! Every ounce matters. Every ounce matters, dude. Even if they farm the entire Reaper drone and get 1,000 back, it's another 200. And it's more what it represents. It represents there's not money elsewhere on the map. So good. I'm looking for more walkers. And I'm just... How can I win? I don't know, but I'm trying tooth and nail. Literally to the last man. I don't know, man. I'm so desperate. I'm literally coming back to take out this saucer. And I don't successfully take it out. But I do wonder if me picking up the rubble means that the enemy can harvest it later. I don't know. But I'm deliberately tanking of Karos so that my buildings can regenerate dark matter armor. And it just stops them from being poked while I wait for my skills and my super weapon. And I'm wondering if I'm at the point where I'm going to have to start super weaponing to take out saucers one at a time. It feels like it. Super weapon's surprisingly healthy considering it's eaten multiple enemy super weapons. Another one comes in, I panic thinking it's on Karos, it's not, and my super weapon does survive. Oh, it survives. I do another excellent super weapon. I do... This is where I target the saucer. Can anyone explain that to me? I do not understand it. It looked like I could actually hit it. Maybe it was a cursor bug, I don't know. But either way. I do take out the saucer. Honestly, at this point, I'm feeling like that's more of a win than damaging the walker. Because I can't kill saucers any other way. But getting to do both, obviously, is ideal. Harassing the walker and harassing the saucer. Now, see, there's another walker. Pretty heavily damaged though. It's slow, it's heavily damaged, it doesn't hurt me very much, it doesn't produce much, it doesn't repair. This is good. I'm deciding whether to upgrade my Forbidden Vault. I don't know if upgrades increase the durability on your buildings, so at some point I do decide to upgrade it just for the sake of maybe it gets a bit more durable, maybe it buys me an extra few seconds, it really matters. I see a cow. Just... What is that cow doing? I stop amongst the madness to just appreciate the humour there. And I'm trying to do damage to this air with my tornado, and it's not working, and I don't know why. It just stops damaging. I don't understand why. It's supposed to work. Maybe it doesn't on assembly walkers? I don't know. I really don't, but this walker is coming for my super weapon, which is why I have incentive to hold this position. And yes, we're an hour and 43 minutes into this video, Jesus. So, I go in, I try again. It looks like it's still not getting damaged. I don't understand what's happening. Again, if anyone could explain, that would be great. Thank you. So I'm waiting for another super weapon. And I get a pretty smart idea, which I'll explain momentarily. But I wait for the super weapon. Boom, do it. It's actually damaging the weapon accelerator, so it's not just invincible like I had feared. I don't take out the weapon accelerator, it just survives. No, I do take out the weapon accelerator, sorry. Now my tornado starts damaging things. I don't know. I don't get it. But now I leave Karos there. Why? Because the walker is not moving towards my super weapon. This is great. This is exactly what I need. Then the other walker comes in and I have to run away. The super weapon comes down. Oh, it's on 10%. It barely lives. It lives. It lives, it lives, it lives. On 30%. Dark matter armor now. It's building, it's building. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's on a knife's edge. This super weapon in Karos. I know it's going to go down on the next enemy's super weapon. So I just want to take out walkers as and when I can before that happens. As best I can. I'm debating going for the wing condition building. I still haven't upgraded my knowledge vault. I don't know if it actually makes it tankier or not. But now the walkers come in. I'm trying to distract it with Karos. I do succeed. It's shooting Karos and not the super weapon. But I can't stop its inevitable march. Karos doesn't have the health. I tried to tornado to make it crash right outside. Can I do it? Ooh, is it going to be enough? And no, it walks over it. It crushed it. Super weapon is down. It's me in a knowledge vault. This is when I decide to upgrade it. It lost 4% health, so if I do get extra health value, then I do. And it's Karos against the world. But there's not many units, I've noticed that. It's just a couple of walkers. I see the odd unit here or there. Maybe I can still do this, I don't know. I tried to tornado, and yes, 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 yes. No! 1%! A single percentage point. What? I think this is where I upgrade the knowledge vault. I'm deciding what to do with Karos. I decide to take out the grunt. It's another thing dead. Why aren't I upgrading this knowledge vault? I don't know if it increases the durability of it, but if it does, then that's great. A tornado. Take out this walker finally. I tried to scare away this saucer. You can see the awkward pathing ruining me there. And I'm tanking it to let the dark matter armor build up. Why? What benefit is this knowledge vault providing when I can't produce units or buildings anymore? Well, it's a distraction. There might be value in that. Maybe I distract something just long enough so I win the map. I don't know. I'd start switching my modes to reset my cooldowns, and it doesn't really work the way I think it does, and I'm not sure why. It's really weird. So I try this switching back and forth stuff. It just doesn't work. It kind of does, I guess, looking at it in the replay. Super weapon comes down. Knowledge vault survives nicely. So it's still targeting my buildings. Useless knowledge vault over my hero. More than happy to take that trade. So I'm trying to switch modes to use the spell Blaze of Glory to do damage to the crowns, but it just doesn't do anything. I don't really get it. I don't understand what's happening, so I think eventually I just commit to the dark mode. When I switch to dark mode, I do instantly get full dark matter armor. That's great. Maybe that's more efficient than waiting for it to regen. Probably not. But still handy. I'm trying to take down this habitat walker. Stop it walking over the knowledge vault. And if I can do that, then it means that I can distract with the units can distract the knowledge vault. There. I can distract with the knowledge vault on the enemy units later, rather than a walker which will just walk over it. Desperately trying to switch modes. For some reason, I don't get the cooldown shifting ability thingy. I don't. Accidentally pause there for a second. And I just test if I'm just messing around now while waiting for cooldowns. So I'm deep. Keep in mind, you're watching this at 200%. So I took twice as long for this. Blaze of Glorying, and now I see I'm not really damaging the crown. I don't get it. I just don't. So I switch to Dark Matter. And now my Tornado's on cooldown. I don't get it, man. Now I see there's another walker. What? How can they afford another walker after all of that? I decide, fuck it. I'm not dealing with another walker. I abandon the legendary Forbidden Vault defense. I finally upgrade it. Why? What's the fucking point? It's already heavily damaged. There's just no point anymore. I don't know. I upgrade it anyway. I'm not doing anything else with my money, so stuff it. Now I'm going to try for the final building. And I just don't know, man. I just don't know. Here we go. The moment of truth. Can I actually siege this down? I've whittled away a lot of reinforcements. The walkers are in my bottom left part of the map now. They won't get there in time. There's barely any units to defend. They can't rebuild stuff much. Maybe this will do it. I focus on the spitter turret. That will give Karos a lot more durability. I go for the matter conduit to prevent the enemy from maybe accidentally super weaponing and catching Karos. It's an insurance thing more than anything else. I'm still picking off the infantry. That's for good reason. And now I see how much of a force was actually down in the left. So my great defense actually mattered. I held that line. Once my abilities are back up, boom. I just go for it. I go for the tornado. I am hitting this origin core. And there's nothing here. I've whittled the enemy down. They have nothing here. And I'm just, no, I'm committing. I'm going for this. No, I am not moving. I am not moving a muscle. Yeah, I'm victorious. But does it count? Does it count? Does it count? I'm kidding. You thought that was actually the end, didn't you? I'm not going to leave you hanging like that. Of course it counted. Yes! And now I'm going to introduce you to something else. Can I beat the last mission of the hard campaign of Universe at War only controlling heroes? This means no building, no unit movement, no UI stuff, no research. I'm not even going to change to dark mode. This is the grand finale of Universe at War Earth Assault. I am going to do this extra special and not control anything except heroes. And you'll see what my strategy is for this. You're in for kind of a treat. This is going to be really interesting. I've left it a normal speed for now because you're going to see how sick this is. So, on this map, the enemy has walkers and the purifier, which is our win condition thing we need to take out, and we have Novus and the humans coming to help us. Now, this is scripted. Even on easy, this attack just fucking fails. There might be a way to do it beforehand, but I don't think it's actually possible. The enemy just overwhelms your guys' dudes. You can't build an army that quickly. Starting units don't actually count towards your population cap, interestingly. But yeah, you guys just aren't able to do it. I'm pretty sure it's impossible, even on easy. And the mind control magnets ensure you fail. Just doesn't work. I'm not going to micro any of this. What you see is what you get. Something that is going to be very helpful is Altea has an healing aura, a passive healing aura, and this affects buildings. So this is my way of repairing structures without issuing commands to anything that's not a hero. Because, you know, I feel like I should be going out with a bang here, right? And here is the thing. Your teammates don't really help you that much, generally. They just kind of sit at your base. Their own base, sorry. And they don't do much. And it turns out that there is actually something you can do to help this. The enemy is scripted to attack them, but they never really produce much units, and the one walker they send doesn't do much. I'm going to teleport my teammates in, and this forces them to fight. I actually bug it out, and the Novus never actually builds their base, which is quite funny. And now you get to see my grand plan unveil. And I'll see how long it takes for you to work it out, actually. I'm not going to mention anything just yet, but I'm preparing for assaults, and I'm moving around the map. I'm positioning my heroes quite specifically. And, yeah. Mirabelle and Jen and Moore are invincible. I'm sorry, I can't make a grand epic finale, because this is the strat. I have Altea near this Guardian, which is regenning, as you can see. My teammates are invincible. They're going to do everything for me. The last mission was really the grand finale. This is a victory lap. This is undergoing the formality of beating it, which is why I've decided to make this additional challenge, because it's over. We did it! We done did it. I have sped the video up to 220%. I'm going to go over the last little bits just because I'm sorry to spoil it, but it's pretty obvious once you figure out that General Moore, or General Peasant as he's more affectionately known, and Mirabelle are just invincible, it's clear that the mission is done, because they just... Why would they not just soloing the entire hierarchy this entire time? I know lore-wise, blah blah blah, but you know, I thought it was quite funny. With that, they take out the worst of it for you. They deal with just armies upon armies themselves. The devs didn't really account for Zessus just teleporting them in, because allied heroes are invincible. They don't aggro very well. You do have to do what I'm going to call teleport creeping, and I'm using Zessus and Karos to just slowly weaken this walker, because there's not much else to do. I'm not really under threat. The enemy, for a final mission, this mission's really not hard. They hit the feeling of it being a big scale battle, and you know, the last defense and the team up and all that, and lovey-dovey and cozy, we're like super best ultra friends now. Yeah. They hit all that stuff really, really well. But it's not hard. This is really not a hard mission at all. It's a joke. And I'm just doing the fun stuff. So I'm just slowly sieging away at the Assembly Walker with Zessus. I'm using Altea's Healing Aura to keep him healthy, to get up the health quicker, because I'm not using Dark Matter Armor. And I'm just going to slowly wear away at this and run back and forth. I position myself so I hit multiple hardpoints and I teleport away, and I just want to talk about the entire challenge as a whole. This was a hell of a lot of fun. It's hard, especially for the Masari. It's frustrating at times, it's slow, it's grindy, but damn is it a fun way to re-experience the campaign, and it's a pretty good campaign overall. I would recommend this to anyone. It is just an enjoyable campaign. And with this extra challenge in place on the hard mode, even the very best of players might struggle. Now, having seen my strats, I've probably got some ideas to how to do it, but it's just a hell of a lot of fun, and it is a challenge, and it really puts you to the test on your decision making and your general micro and your situational assessment. Your patience, you have to be quite patient. It's just a very, very good and interesting challenge, and I've so enjoyed it. So much that I was prepared to re-record a bunch of footage. In my original playthrough, I did most of the maps with just the destroying the main win condition building and running away or dying. I had a few more successes in this playthrough because I'm just better, obviously. And I know the strats and layouts and all that kind of stuff a bit more, and situational assessment and whatnot improved. And it's just a lot of fun. It's so good. My original playthrough, it played out more or less the same, except I didn't get Zessus in the overworld until much later. But it's so much fun, I was prepared to re-record the whole thing, nearly. Like, half of the Masari campaign. It's just so much fun. This victory lap is quite enjoyable. In the middle, I don't really pan the camera over that much, but General Moore and Mirabelle are still just chucking away. They don't use their abilities. Allied heroes don't seem to use abilities at all, but in exchange they're invincible, which seems pretty fair to me. That's not something that I'm going to complain about. I would choose invincibility over my teammate using their abilities any day, of course. But yeah, I did bug it out. I don't know if I teleported their Constructors accidentally or something. Novus just isn't building a base, and I was worried that that might break the level, but it just doesn't. It doesn't seem to. Nothing really seems to change. The only two objectives that actually matter for this mission are taking out the Purifier and killing Kamal. Those are the only two things that matter. Nothing else matters, technically. This might sound cheesy, but this challenge has been a bit of a journey for me. This is a game from my childhood. I loved it. I still have my Xbox 360 disc. And this challenge was a bit of a journey. It really I don't know, it made me feel good, and it's quite something. This game is really special. This is a hidden gem. It's a diamond in the rough. I think it's one of the very best RTS games of all time. It's just so well made. Yes, it's buggy. Yes, there's some problems. But in terms of mechanics and gameplay, and even the story, it's just really well done. The rough models and whatnot, yeah, you can make a case for that, and some of the voice lines delivered aren't the best, but the story is really well done, and no character's arc feels unfinished except for maybe Nufi, because you never find out what really happens to him, but it's just so well done. And I wish it was more popular. I'm in the Discord for it, I tried to play. It's not that many players. Admittedly, it's a very old game. I did a bit of teleport creeping there, bringing Mirabelle forward a bit more, because she and General Peasant don't really aggro super well. And I wish there were more players. And if you are interested in the game and you haven't played it before, join the Discord. Learn and play. The game is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say it's as good as Warcraft 3, because as far as I'm concerned, Warcraft 3 is the gold standard for RTS, but it comes close. And I would say I probably prefer this to Warcraft 3, to be honest, although I fully acknowledge Warcraft 3 is simply the better game. I teleport Mirabelle and General Peasant up to the top there to deal with the Habitat Walker. It's going to attack my base, probably, so this just prevents that from being an issue, because I'm only microing heroes and not units, so the Walker could actually be a genuine issue. That's why I solved that. Yeah, I actually prefer this game to Warcraft 3, and I think that a fair few people would. The game is just beautifully designed. Every race has their advantages, every hero has their advantages. The game has a terrific ebb and flow, and every race feels valid. I'm not good enough to really know about the balance of the game, but it feels pretty good to me, and I don't see anyone in particular being overly upset with the balance. The game did receive a few patches, so that definitely helps, I suppose. But overall, the game seems relatively balanced, especially if you're playing on patch 3. You can play on the older patches, that's the thing you can do, and some people have to play online because the online's a bit janky. It's an old game, and old games tend to have headaches with playing online, especially because they're not really designed for modern stuff. But you can make it work, and the game is really very much worth it. That I can promise you. I'm mopping up for the finish now, and it's just a matter of taking out the Purifier and then Kamal. I spawn in Mirabelle and General Peasant. I'm using Zessus to speed things along just a little bit. Zessus has issues hitting the Purifier. It's not that big a deal. It's just not. It whiffs a lot, but I can target down the infantry and get some chip shots in on the Purifier. When I move a bit closer, it seems to hit more. The light damage over time is helping speed things along nicely. Mirabelle's too busy punching the Science Walker, as is General Peasant, but they'll get through it. They definitely will get through it. The Purifier's about to go down, and then Kamal Rex is going to come in all of his glory, even though Orlok already destroyed him, and then, you know, he got plot armored, so Orlok died. And the way I'm going to deal with Kamal, it's a very convoluted strategy, and if you've seen anything in this video so far, you know how convoluted it's going to be. I'm going to teleport to base and let my overpowered invincible teammates deal with him. And here we are. Mr. Kamal spawns in. I debate going in, then I think not. I'll let my heroes have a well-deserved rest. They can stand in a circle, and oh, he's dead. That was quick. And now here we are at last. The official finish of the Universe at War No Units Built Challenge. Not even no optional units. No units built. You do not need to build a single unit to beat Universe at War Earth Assault on the hard difficulty. This was quite the journey. If you made it to the end, you're awesome. If you didn't, you're awesome anyway. Thank you very kindly for watching. I'm very happy. I had no idea this was possible when I started. I thought it might be. The reason I thought was because heroes are just so powerful. But I didn't know. It was worth a shot. And damn was it a good journey. The result feels great, and the journey feels better. It was such a journey. I'm nearly speechless. I'm so happy. I recommend for anyone to try this. I recommend anyone. Literally. It's so worth it. It's so much fun. Not just the game as a whole, but the challenge too. Now we see Kamal getting locked in his prison, his mind, for all eternity. Very well delivered voice line. Yeah, that brings us to the end. I'm a dude playing Universe at War Earth Assault, and thank you very much for watching. Take care, and goodbye.